Is there anything that you like least about what you do?
I think getting sick on the road is the hardest thing. I've had a couple of times where I've been very, very sick. I had food poisoning in India that lasted for 2 months. I never felt thinner, which was great, but it was like, I remember one time, like, how many times in my life am I going to have a 28-inch waist?
Yeah.
But not today. Being, I once had malaria and African tick fever at the same time.
Oh.
And so you're sick, you're barely making it, but now you're in production, and you know every day you're losing is thousands of dollars. So a director says to you, like, well, I guess you're sick, so don't worry about it, I guess. So now you're working and you're sick, and here you're in this moment that should be incredible. You know, you're putting a radio collar on an elephant, and you just want to, you know, curl up with the bed. You want to be in home, you know, with your family around you, giving you popsicles and keeping you happy.
Yeah.
You know, and travel. Sometimes the traveling, things that have happened, you know, not being there for wonderful moments or sad moments that happen. When you travel 10 months out of the year or 8 months out of the year, and you do that for 15 years, you'll miss weddings and births and funerals. You know.
Yeah. Takes away from your family a lot.
And I try to compensate with Skype and take them on the road, but it's not always perfect. But, you know, this is my ride, this is my journey, and I'm just trying to make the most out of it.
Yeah, definitely. What is the scariest animal that you've ever seen?
You know, a lot of people ask that, and I think that's the nature of human beings to want to know that stuff. Sort of the, you know, the train wreck watching element to our character. I don't look at animals that way, and a lot of times I look at it as if I'm in a situation that is dicey, or I'm seeing an animal do something that sort of evokes a sense of fear that tells me I'm in a situation I shouldn't be. And we rarely have those moments. I mean, you can take all the precautions and still have something go awry, but that's rare. But I think probably when I say scary, like the moment for me that I look at is where I truly felt I was in trouble was, you know, probably about 4 years ago, being attacked by an elephant I was doing a documentary on, and nearly being killed by that elephant. You know, when you weigh 170 pounds and your adversary weighs 10,000 pounds, you're not going to win. And I remember that moment where I just said, you know, I've got 15 seconds, and if someone doesn't help me in 15 seconds, I'm going to come apart at the seams. You know, for me, what was very cathartic was to be able to go back to that place just a few months ago and see how that elephant has made progress. This was an elephant that had been victimized by poachers, and to see how that elephant has made progress in its life, and sort of how we both grew from that experience. I mean, I think I grew 6 inches longer in my left arm, but those moments are few and far between. But I think also the animal that really scares me the most is the human animal. I mean, I've been in moments where we've almost crashed in airplanes, or we've been around in violent situations, and those, to me, are the most scary moments.
Where is the coolest place that you've ever been?
We've been to some really neat places. You know, we've been to Madagascar, we've been to the Amazon, we've been to many places many, many times. I love being at home. I love where I live. I love the familiar, where I can make discoveries. And I love being there with my kids to see discovery through their eyes. I think that's what really I found most appealing and intriguing about this Lunchables opportunity, was to be a part of discovery for young people. And the places of my familiar seemed really exciting to me. But there are many, many places. I think a place that was also really cool was about 14 years ago, I had a chance to film in a jellyfish lake in Palau, and it was like literally being in a bloodstream, like you were microscopic in a bloodstream, because you were just surrounded by these stingless jellyfish in a landlocked marine lake, millions of them around you, and it was just a bizarre. I mean, we've done some really cool things, but that for me was just a memory I often look back.
Cool. Do your daughters get to travel with you often?
Not as much as I'd like. And now that the oldest one is in school, not as much as they used to. But when we can and it works, I do bring them on the road. But a lot of times it's just not safe where we go.
How would you help a child who's fearful of animals? How would you try to calm them down and break them in and ease them in a situation?
That's an excellent question. I think, baby steps, literally work your way slowly into that. I think, knowledge, discovery, getting that information, that information can build awareness and understanding. I think the last thing you want to do is aggressively immerse them into that environment, because that only will probably cultivate the fear. But I think, is there something specific you're thinking about?
No, I was just wondering. I guess I have a friend who's a little fearful of dogs. It's just a way to kind of ease her into getting used to being around them more often.
Well, I think, for example, like if you were afraid of spiders, I would go to a local museum or a local science center and see them in their environment. I would get a good book on that information as a parent, be there. I think not only it's a partnership, not only is it the child making those discoveries in your own backyard, but maybe it's the parent who turns over the rock and says, see that? We don't hurt it. We respect it. This is why that. You don't have to love it. It doesn't have to be your best friend. But let's learn about it. And through that moment of learning, you'll maybe develop a sense of empathy and respect. And perhaps comfort.
Makes sense. Okay, just a couple more questions for you. Do you have a pet now, or did you have any pets growing up?
When I was growing up, it was a really amazing experience. My parents were really into what I did. They had regular jobs, police officer and a nurse. But I was very fascinated by creatures, so I worked with a local wildlife rehabilitation center. So, I had everything from turtles with broken shells to hawks with broken wings, and we would take these animals and actually, with this wildlife rehabilitation center, actually work with them and actually help rear them up so they could survive in the wild again. I always think it's a great opportunity for your young person is maybe where you live. Where do you live again?
In Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin, go to a local wildlife center that does that. They're in every community just about. And to see the behind the scenes of how you take care of baby birds to get them back out in the environment. I think that moment, those moments for me were very, very powerful. Today, though, 2 cats. Because I don't work in wildlife rehabilitation, the message I do not want to send is that I believe it's okay to keep non-traditional pets. We just have 2 cats, which are shelter cats.
Anything else you want to tell us about the Lunchables Sweepstakes?
Well, I think it's going to be very, very fun. It's very easy to do. You just go to Lunchables.com, click your way through the Animal Planet My Face icon, and then follow the directions. Anyone can do it between the ages of 6 and 17. And if you're one of the lucky 10 who win, and their families that come along, it's going to be a great adventure.
Cool. All right, I think that's all my questions.
Wonderful, thanks.
Thank you for your time.
Bye.